Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Age Mythology Replay. Well, on the north side as the blue Gaia, we have a foreign name. Well, on the bottom right side as the red Hades. Squirrel! What? Oh, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing the boar being engaged. Got too busy about the squirrel. Do now have the Gaia force power deployed in the field. Got the goats have been obtained. They are, of course, the goat. Basic economic research being queued up immediately.
Yoshi.
Temple now pulled in the field by red. Of course, Hades does have access to sentinels, which can be used just in case. Looking up all the boar first before going for. Oh, looks like Blue's also going for boar there as well. Does play some sentinels there. A little bit of overreaction doing that to one oracle. Could have held off onto it. Vault of Erebus now queued on up if when needed. Red does have, Red does have a bit of villagers and wood. Probably can hold off on this collection until it gets the age up complete. So it did spend some wood on something. Oh, it does a Vault of Erebus? Yeah, it does cost a bit of gold there. Gaia is currently aging up to Oceanus. Gives access to Caladria. Why is my cursor stuck at the berries?
Bureg.
Caladria charging by 4, try to get some scouting off. The Sentinels will shoo her away. Ajax can throw some spears up there. Does spot the Cyclopes, or Cyclops. And with the Pestilence, does allow Hades to lock down production, so that could allow him to get one last push into his opponent's base, preventing reinforcements. Well, Gaia, of course, has aged up and got access to Carnivore, as well as some more Gaia forests are available. Her first two casts are free. Now, we do have some Hippus cavalry being pulled up by red. The standard cavalry unit for the Greek could be countered by the Castropeltus, or however you pronounce it, a counter cavalry unit available from the counter barracks. You have a terminal pulled in the field, a mounted spear thrower with a really slow attack speed with good multipliers. It's a counter range unit. I'm personally not a big fan of it, but I understand its usage for it being a mounted range unit. Manor now being established. Cyclops there. These citizens are heroes, so they could engage the Cyclops as well. Got a single Catapultus, the counter cavalry unit. Have 6 damage times 4 multiplier and it's relatively slow attack speed. Citizens do get on out of there by going through the manor. Bit of a stop order command there. Caladria is still alive, taking some damage. Looks like this Catapultus is taking some fire there, engaging the range units, or the cavalry units. Bit of a slow there. More Hippus spawn field. Definitely get out more of those Catapultus. Oracle down south does spot the villagers gathering up berries on the hillside. Ajax is carrying a relic. It is the Fee, which is a poisonous animal. Ajax is not exactly critical of this engagement. There's only a Quadra up in the air to cause issues, which Achilles could be used to take it out. More Gaia force being salvaged there. Podge tried a bit of coverage there. Funnel his opponent. The mana will go down. What bad manners. You now have the Cherry Ballista being pulled in the field, which is a counter infantry unit, which, suppose seeing that one hoplite would suggest more infantry units being pulled in the field. Right now it's just more Hippus and another Cyclops. Last of these berries being cleaned on up, and I hear chickens being obtained as well. So Blue is starting to run out of food, needs to start going towards these caribou. Another Cloud Triple on the field, getting some good healing. Let's see, we do have no medium infantry just yet. We have medium range. Got serrated blades, giving fanatics and marmellos increased damage and bleed, or are able to inflict bleed. We got a number of medium high passes deployed in the field. Medium infantry now being queued on up. Good number of idle villagers there.
Uge?
Claudia will spot these units. Right, so now starting to push way forward. Now got peasants being utilized. Got some other stuff back there not currently being affected, but we've got a bit of a choke point here. One Quadra does get picked on up there. Using Gaia Force to trap these units. Oh boy. He's make sure to focus on the Cyclopes with the heroes. Some of these Marmellos and Calpeltus are coming for a flank. Carnivore brought on in, and Red's army will go down here. Only artilleries remain. Quadra's gonna have a lot of work in front of her to kill up all these units. Achilles trying to escape on out of there. And Achilles will escape on out of there. We have some Hippus over here. Citizens standing and fighting. This citizen needs to get on out of there. He's done his part. And the rest of these Hippus do go down. Citizens are particularly tanky, and thanks to them being on top of Lush, they get a bit of health regen going.
Yuji?
Now Psychologist gains good healings here as well. Right, so now pushing forward with a decent number of Hippus, Hypastus, couple Shades, couple Cyclopes. Got some chickens here. And goats pretty well fattened, now being eaten. More Marmellos, more Catapultus. Definitely needs to lay off the Termos. There's no range from engage. Cherry Ballista is another matter. Guard towers not being researched. Some of this infrastructure started going down. The citizen cabal is given to the manors. Blue's trying to get overran. Good number of hero Momellos there. Watchtower is firing away. Momellos ripping apart the Cyclopes. Some citizens are going down. He does have 2 towns there, so he can take some villager losses, but it's not great. Momellos engaging that Cyclops, takes him out. Some of these farms going down, and Lantian farms are a bit more expensive than regular farms. And last of the Cyclopes will go down. Citizen going down there. A very large number of citizens are going on down, that's for sure. Red's not falling back now. Cold, good number of villagers. Both sides took lots of losses. Red has more military units being streamed across the frozen lake. And going some farms there. There's still plenty of meat on the field, such as delicious polar bears. They're quite unbearable though. And Red is actually aged on up, gone for Apollos of access of Manticore and Underworld Passage.
Skopos.
Manticore is a very good myth unit. Excuse me. Manticores are a very good myth unit. I think they're very underrated. They're a durable platform. They do good damage. They have good range. They do cost 4 population, but I say they're pretty good. We do now have the weighted maces research increasing. Oh, howdy. Sorry, I just saw you. Your comment. It's a comment I make all the time about bears. The weighted mace, what was it again? Increases the catapultus, or have announced that, speed and attack damage. So they just make it a bit more effective versus everything. I wonder, let's see, the move speed gets improved up to 5. Momellos move at 4.5. So they do move faster than Momellos, which is quite nice. Got a Pegasus here, scouting a route, not bad. And got the Underworld Passage. Being scouted right there. Red is being aggressive, does get on the far side of the manors. More citizens going down. Blue does have a better civilian population right now. Needs more. Oh, got another carnivore on the back line. Cheruballista doesn't have too many targets. I need to start targeting towards those her high passes rather than against these units. Momellos been stopping some of the Hippus from reaching the Cheruballista, but it's not looking too great for blue. Manticore does go down. Age up complete. Got a civilian bird. And does pull out the Herpestes tree somewhere. Red's going for a fortress here. Probably go from siege weapons in the front line. Towns that are now under siege. Dryads being established. Blues take some losses. Citizens looks like trying to go to this watchtower was not great. That citizen does get picked up by the Cyclops and thrown. Number of farms back here. Now her fastest tree deployed out there for a couple more Dryads. got a decent number of Dryads now on the field. Achilles hitting out Cherry Ballista, which is getting healed up by Galadriel at the moment, I think. Get healed by something. There's a Galadriel.
UJ?
Red's starting to fall back. The Dryads are coming out in pretty decent force. Of course, got a force here, but probably Bowling Oil's not researched just yet, so Blue can't deal with it. Going for some heavy cavalry, the medium Contineras. Petropolis does go down. Dryad still engaging. Of course, still got the underworld passage here, causing issues. Red's reinforcements can just be brought on the front line, but looks like overall Red's having trouble massing up forces. Cyclops getting hit there. Symphilian Bird does have time to multiplier versus mid units, so it's trying to focus on the Cyclops. Achilles here, Shepard taking out the Symphilian Bird and perhaps a Galadriel while at it, but getting tied up by the various other units. Mana starting going down there. Blue still has more villagers on the field, or at least citizen population. Do now the Lance of Stone getting Contineras increased damage by 50% and gives an opponent a bit of slow. Partial petrification. Damage there onto the market. Does not push forward. Got good Argus Archer core. Doesn't give us Symphilian Bird. Cyclops throws the unit. Counter does get interrupted. Symphilian Bird getting hit by the fortress and by Ajax. Symphilian Bird does get shot down. Cyclops picks another guy and does chuck him. Cyclops getting riddled with arrows. A couple more high passes here. Says to try and go back to these farms. There may not be a possibility of this nearby fortress. Maybe Gaia could eye for a palace right here. Yes, I clicked on right when I was mentioning it. Though the Petropolis is still alive, 6 health. And may need to cancel it. Didn't cancel it. That Petropolis can cause some issues. We don't have any more Petropolis in the build queue for red. We're also going to see some Peltas and another Chiron, or a Chiron. I don't think we've seen Chiron yet this game. Couple villagers there. Looks like Blue does spot it with the Oracle. So got a bit of a counterattack here. This will help get Blue back in the game. Polar Bear being obtained. Gold here, which they should have a vision of each other. Villagers quickly knock down. This will give Blue a little bit of an edge here. Red's now counterattacking up here, but Blue is ready. Though, move order, not an attack move forward. Allow Red to get a lot of free damage there. Contineras are now making its way to the Peltast.
Here's Joe.
Another Dryad going down. Chiron does pick off some of these. Contineras do fall back there. Blue has not been able to stabilize here. Red has a decent gold stockpile, just queued up a whole bunch of Peltas. And going for a handful of Padromos, counter cavalry. Heavy Contineras now pulling the field by Blue. Got a pretty sizable army being queued on up. Now got a pair of fortress here. Maybe some destroyers help out for the anti-structure damage. Shay's being cleaned on up. Another citizen got thrown. She got thrown into Contineris, taking him out as well. Contineris does find some more villagers here. Red's at 62. Blue's at 696. Sound like some bears were getting hit. I'm not sure. Oh, right there. Town center here, not fortified town center. Red's also advancing forward over here. I think Blue's starting to disintegrate. Decent for queue of units, but simply does not have enough production structures for it. Red's now established a forward barracks here as well. Going for more siege weapons. Gaia does get cleaned up there. Blues are trying to get anything built right now. High passes engage the Argus archers in melee. Red's now going for this town center. Finally going for a secondary town center. Peltas trip forward. You have now the palace taking some serious damage. And now got Sentinels here. With the smaller engagements, the Sentinels could do some decent work, even though I'm not a big fan of them to stop armies. Right now, Blue doesn't have much of an army. Contineris now heading down south, eyeing for a bit of a counterattack. We got a good number of Dryads blood in the field by Gaia. Trying to go fortress here, try to obtain this gold deposit. Not much left on that gold deposit. Plenty of gold up here. Villagers getting hit once again. Blue's able to get another good attack on these villagers. A couple heavy Prodromos to counter. Dryads and Contineris push right forward. I guess at this point in time he needs to pull out some Prodromos and Hoplites over here. Another Carnivore pull in the field. Another Cyclops emerged from the Underworld Passage. Ajax started going down. Achilles still doing quite well. A lot of Dryads from engage. A couple Argus archers now heroicified. Red's now going for some Toxidaes. And Red has a decent wood reserve as well. May want to cool off on the wood collection. Blue's actually trying to age up, going for Atlas. I don't know if that's a good idea. Gives X to Argus and to Implosion. That could be used to break this over here. Red can even steal some of these farms. Another fortress being established here as well. Blue does have another town center. Add 400 population. No fortified town centers. More dryads queued on up. Not a pop cap at the moment, but getting pretty close. Red is pretty far from aging up. Going for more Cyclopes. 3 more Cyclopes queued on up. Masonry now being researched by Gaia. Not a bad idea. Here comes a cavalry counterattack. In fact, could take out the underworld passage from this side. Go for the underworld passage.
Scopos?
He has vision underworld passage. Running on by. Blue has a decent defense, tries to cost 0 population, making them very, very flexible in any sort of composition. In other words, just build them. Achilles does go down there. Still a couple more Cyclopses on the field. Cyclopes. And does find the villagers here. Does not go to the underworld passage. Bodrome was trying to counter now. And the Age of Thrones complete. This lush health regen has been very useful for Blue, able to keep these villagers that have been these citizens have been constantly being raided. Pop up health. There's now the Mythic Age. There's a lot of bringing implosion over here. Don't know about that. That was not a very good implosion. I can see something being used over here. I can see something being more used right there, but that was not good. But more heroes now upload on the field. This relic could be grabbed and put on in. Chiron and a Shade will go down. Is there even a temple on the field? Blue may not have a temple, so rebuilding a temple should give her an Argus. Chimera's push right forward. Good number of Padromos on the field. As right now, it seems like Fanatics going to be particularly useful for Blue, able to counter the infantry and the cavalry. Won't be able to counter the Peltas, but they are already a counter unit. Plus, he has serrated blades go along for the Fanatics. And Blue's out of gold. And if Blue doesn't fix the gold issue, Gaia will lose the current rate. She could try establishing trade, maybe put a market there. Either way, nothing seems particularly great in order to fix Gaia's gold problem right now. Blue does have a good number of cavalry here. Red is obtaining this gold deposit. Blue just simply does not have a way of obtaining gold. That gold deposit is cleaned on up. Red has stolen that one. But I think at this point in time, Gaia will probably start disintegrating the lack of possible gold. She has plenty of wood she could probably sell off for food. And Blue does back the game now. This is Aaron Grade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.